Good morning, everyone. This is Ready Stage Move here. We're so delighted to have you here on this sunny, warm day in northern New Jersey. We are here this morning to present to you how to partner organizers and stagers beyond the home selling experience.
So welcome. I am Jean Marie Heverin. I am the gal on the right with the short dark hair, and Bernadette, my partner, is on the left. Our webinars in the past have been with three people. We have a triad of a realtor, organizer, and a stager. I am the organizer. Bernadette is the stager. And then there's a gal by the name of Maria Rini, who is a realtor. And we've worked for quite a while together. That being said, Bernadette and I have discovered that we can do things outside of the real estate industry with just our two professions. And we thought, you know what, let's do a webinar just on that. So today it's just Bernadette and myself. And once again, you're going to be getting a lot of information from just an organizer and a stager. And we felt that we've done so many things on our own that have been profitable outside of the Ready Stage Move triad that we wanted to share them with you. Okay, so this is Jean Marie still speaking. And really what happened was I had an aha moment going back probably about 8 months ago. And what had happened was you'll see a picture up in the left-hand corner, and that's myself and my grandmother. Who was 92 at the time, and her health was failing, and she had moved into an assisted living. And my mom, who lives in Florida full-time, was taking care of my nanny's estate plans. And since my mom is in Florida and I am in New Jersey, and my grandmother's condo, or my mom's condo, was in Pompton Lake, she asked me to kind of step in and help out. She said, you know, can you get it ready? And it was really ready for sale, but I'm going to tell you why Bernadette and I felt it would turn into more than just sales revenue. So I did all the decluttering in my grandmother's condo. And as an organizer, my skill set is on organizing. And I knew that to put a great photo on the MLS, I really needed the expertise of my friend Bernadette. So I had said to her, can you do me a favor? I'm at my grandmother's. Can you just give me a couple of hours? Which is literally what Bernadette gave me. It was from 9 in the morning till 11 in the morning. And Bernie had come in, and you'll see some of the after photos here. And like I said, the property was already decluttered, but I was really confused as to what to do to the condo to bring it up to date, to make it look a lot more on trend, to shoot a great MLS photograph. So Bernie started working with me, and in 2 hours, voila, you get the pictures that you see up there. And Bernadette looked at me at one point. She goes, Jean Marie, she goes, all this is a quick fix. And you're going to see later on in the PowerPoint presentation what a quick fix has become for us outside of not just selling homes, but for, you know, homeowners who also want to dwell. So we kind of have taken that to under our belt, so to speak, and have really run with the idea that we're going to share with you. But really, this webinar came to be because I had that aha moment many, many months ago.
Okay, so as Jean Marie said, that was certainly her aha moment. And frankly, this was, I was able to share this idea with her as a result of my own aha moment when I was working with a realtor that needed just that, as I ended up coining the phrase quick fix. It was really just a matter of being able to pull a few things together and really position the property in such a way that would just really reflect a space that was organized and was able to connect emotionally with the prospective buyer and so forth. So that's in essence all it really needed to really be ready, as I like to say, for its close-up. So, so then Jean Marie and I put our heads together and we determined that besides decluttering and staging for property sales, there were other potential revenue opportunities for us.
Mhm.
And we really got excited when we sat down as strategic partners to be able to determine that some of the other things that we could collaborate on were also assessments and packages and some more extensive consulting. It's certainly in the selling realm, but also in the, as Jean Marie said, the dwelling realm.
Mhm.
It was our ability to be able to come up with these ways of not just applying what we have done very expertly over the years, but to be able to collaborate as a team to be able to realize more revenue opportunities. In addition to that, there were wonderful marketing opportunities and networking opportunities, and certainly personal opportunities for the two of us. We offer a lot of support and expertise with our individual companies and services to each other, even. And it's been a wonderful way to be able to accomplish things and know that we're on the right track.
Mhm. And as most of you who were on the call, you already know about Ready Stage Move. So we had this company that was really a turnkey solution, if you will, to put this partnership together of a real estate organizer and a stager, and we were working on these properties for sale. But then Bernadette and I also have I have an organizing business, which I've had for almost 10 years. And Bernadette has, a staging and a redesign business that she's had for 10 years. And we have an awful lot of dwelling clients. We have those folks that are like the ocean waves that come in and out because they're going to sell and they're going to move, and maybe they stay geographically close and maybe they don't. And hopefully we get referrals from their family and friends when they leave. I don't want to call them one and done because we never believe in a one and done type of customer. But we realize that in our own business as Posse and the Flame Group, there were many, many prospective clients who were planning on aging in place or not going anywhere for decades, but really wanted to refine their space, get organized, and love the space that they were living in. And it involved both, again, an organizer and a stager, someone to help them sort through their possessions, and somebody to help them take what they already loved, what items were in their home, and repaint the picture, if you will, so that their space was now one that they really, really enjoyed being in from an aesthetic perspective. So that's what we were going for when we sat down and did this.
I just wanted to go back just briefly to what Jean Marie said about the one and done. I really love that reference because as a stager, I've spent a lot of my professional life with the one and dones, if you will. There are, I mean, that's just the nature of the beast, and that I go in and I help people prepare their homes for sale, they sell them, and then they're off to their new lives. I think what has happened as a result of Jean Marie and I collaborating is that there is that opportunity to be able to jump in and kind of pick up where Jean Marie has left off. And I think that's very exciting that those wonderful clients who have now put their systems in place and now require a little bit of tarting up, as I like to say, and really make their spaces cozy and warm and stylish for all intents and purposes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, so one of the things we do is we do something called a walk and talk, which is a basic assessment, but instead of doing it individually as an organizer or as a stager or redesigner, we do them together. So they get both the partnership of the organizing and the designing in one consultation. So we'll, meet at a house together. We'll have a clipboard. We'll have a template of an assessment. And as we go through each room in the house, we take notes. Obviously, I take them from, an organizing end, and Bernadette will take them from a design end. and we will also take photographs. So as we're going through the whole home, from the curb through the backyard to the side yards, we write down everything that we feel our client may want to do in terms of decluttering and refining.
I think also we'd like to, or we have, in this case, added other what we call items of value. That would also include the decluttering resource list, which can be found in the Ready Stage Move kit. We offer a color consultation when it's necessary. And also, we like to, what I like to do is, and I think this is something we've done very effectively, is shopping the house. So when we're together, it's even more important because Jean Marie needs to know what needs to stay, not only for the staging, but also in terms of what the client might need. Those things we can talk about together. It's an extremely efficient way to be able to approach this kind of process. And people love it. I think they like to see the interaction between the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
I think they feel they're getting tremendous value for their investment of just that consultation. And I think it also, and I just kind of, this just kind of popped into my head now, but I really believe strongly that it also solidifies that we truly would be of value going forward, because ultimately, and typically the real estate agent perhaps would pay for us if it's a staging consultation, and if it in fact is something else, because walk and talks can be done whether you sell or dwell, certainly. I think it really helps solidify the trust factor in terms of them wanting to choose you to move forward. They really can see that there is a synergy and an ability for us to really provide them with a wonderful service.
And everybody wants to love their house, no matter how old or how new it is. And somebody who, for whatever reason, they're going to be staying in their house because they're still raising their children, they're going to be staying in their house because they can't afford to go somewhere else. What happens during the assessment is they get to pick our brains. And they might have, for an example, an outdated fireplace. And they realize as we're together, they can pick Bernadette's brain on whether it's a faux finish, replacing it completely. And we come with a wealth of resources ourselves. So as we're going through the home and they start asking questions about, particular things like, this is my grandmother's china, it says Tiffany on the bottom. How do I find out whether or not it has any value? We're right there to answer the questions. And if we can't answer the questions right then, we know we're going to be able to get back to them. So, if I didn't know off the top of my head, I'm going to, email a photograph of the stamp and the cup and the saucer to my appraiser. So there's a lot of information being gleaned from the consultation and a lot of follow-up in case there are resources that we want to get back to them or unanswered questions. But when you do this on yourself, you can do the assessment however you want, but you can add your own items of value. For example, if you had some information, maybe you have your own organizing recipe, if you will, for example, my acronym POSSE, I just scramble it up. And every time I work with a client, I tell them we're going to SSPOE, which means we're going to sort, we're going to get selective, we're going to purge, we're going to organize, and we're going to equalize. And I have a handout on my organizing recipe. So when they get the assessment, maybe I give them other items of value, such as my SSPOE handout. Whatever it is you have in your back pocket that you might want to share in order for them to feel like, wow, not only did I get this great assessment, but I got some other items of value.
So after the walk and talk, just to give you an idea of how the process works is, we do in fact walk through the space, we collaborate on the notes, we collaborate on the photographs, and then we come back together again for a very short period of time, and we really talk about and prepare the recommendations and project proposal, which allows us to kind of review once more the space in a very detailed way, and then offer our recommendations, not just organizationally, but also aesthetically and certainly staging wise, if it is in fact a home that's being prepared for sale. And then, of course, the project proposal itself will be our ability to go in and say, okay, we're going to come in, we're going to work together, and we are going to spend, X amount of days organizing and so forth. And then the last day or two would be those transformation hands-on staging / design days. So it's a lot of fun because, for me, I came from a professional organizing background. So there is a sense of, I don't know, accomplishment or pleasure from being able to go and make things organized out of chaos. But I wouldn't necessarily choose to do that myself. But working alongside Jean Marie, it's fun and it's pleasurable. And it's also very lucrative. We're doing this great project. We are much greater than the sum of our parts working together. And then I'd like to think it's fun for Jean Marie when she gets to jump in and do the kind of the design aspect of it. So it really does end up being just a whole lot of fun.
And hopefully, the walk and talk goes so well for this client that they're very open and, they're desiring the next step, because that would be more revenue. Okay, so we have put together a package called a quick fix, going back to my aha moment with my grandmother, except this is for our dwell clients. So this works in a lot of cases, especially in a situation where a client might be a little hesitant about getting a full-blown package. So we do this quick fix, and it can be either a half a day or a full day with the two of us. So depending on the size of the house, the client might pick one particular space, and what we do is a half a day, and we just do that room. Or it could be several rooms depending on how much clutter there is and how much needs to be done. But we basically want to transform either one space or a series of spaces in one day. So again, you have to kind of eyeball the project. That's why the walk and talk is so important, so we know what we're getting ourselves into when we do the quick fix. But we choose, it's a 4-hour or an 8-hour day. We want to make sure that we always have before and after pictures. And as you can see, you see a before picture up in the top and then an after picture down in the bottom right. What you don't see in the before picture is, I know, and I don't know if Bernie remembers, but the two corners on the bottom left and the bottom right were pretty cluttered. Mm-hmm. They had, a whole bunch of media and papers. So that's how we do the quick fix.
And I think, the last bullet point you'll see says take the client's temperature. And what we mean by that is that once we have done this half or full day quick fix, that's really our opportunity to see how how well the client, how good their experience was, for example. And then perhaps that will be our cue to be able to determine whether we will get to do perhaps another room mm-hmm. or two, or
the whole house.
That's right. That's right. So that's always critical to the process. And also, too, depending on the length of time they've lived with their space in a particular way, you really you have to be sensitive mm-hmm. to how they're feeling. And so that's really kind of something that's really important should you choose to take on this kind of a project.
Right. So this is, for a lot of our clients, this is an appetizer. And hopefully we will have, whet their appetite that they want to have the full-blown meal. And as you probably already know, depending on the ages and stages of your clients, you get to a certain point in life where it's like, okay, enough with the stuff, and people would like to be a little more minimalistic. They just don't know how. And then from a design perspective, what Bernie is doing is basically repainting a similar canvas, but they're thrilled when they see, what the new materials will do, how mixing up the artwork changes things, how she changes the lighting or the furniture placement, and it adds a complete new energy to the space. And even though it's the same house, they almost feel like they've got a new house by the time we leave. And usually they're thrilled.
I just wanted to make a point. When working together as a team, uh, and speaking, I'd like to kind of address the organizers in the audience at this point, but I think it's so important that when you choose whoever your strategic partner is going to be, or, you can certainly work with a handful of these kinds of strategic partners, and spread yourself around a little bit so that this way you have more opportunity to be able to do more kinds of projects like this. Choose that individual that's really going to uh, work well psychologically and philosophically with you, because you don't want to go into a situation. I always believe that as a redesigner, I always believe that people have a innate sense of style and taste and color. I mean, certainly not always, but I think a lot of the time this is the case. So what has to happen is you go into a situation. I got a wonderful comment the other day, and the person happened to say, "I'm so happy that you can use a lot of what is already in this space." That's a huge
Mhm.
compliment. So whenever whoever you choose, you want to be able to connect with whoever your strategic partner is going to be in such a way that you are going to be able to have a meeting of the minds, in essence, of how you're going to deal with this particular client. Because, it really is, at the end of the day, all about the psychology of it, and wanting to make sure that you honor them and you respect them and you treat them in such a way that they're going to feel good about the experience, and then also hopefully refer you to someone else.
Okay. All right. So then, as another revenue opportunity for us, we offer a package called Donate, Discard, and Design. And this is really, a full project. So this would be taking on, a good sized portion of the home, and we call it our premium package. And I'm sure you already know this. It's very difficult to go into a home and eyeball the entire home and tell somebody how long it's going to take to get it organized and to make it look beautiful. So in order for us to even offer this particular package, we must do the walk and talk first. So we've had the consultation. Bernie and I have both been there. We know what we're dealing with. So we know if we're dealing with a tremendous amount of clutter. We know if we're dealing with a tremendous amount of outdated furniture. We know we're dealing with, maybe an elderly couple that is holding on to things, or somebody with a physical dilemma. We know what kind of personalities we're going to be working with, and we know the pulse of the room, if you will. So we always do the walk and talk first, and then we really sit down and we strategize based on the square footage and what we've seen. How long do we believe it will take us to work with these homeowners? And as you all know, every homeowner is fast and slow at certain types of decisions. And until you really start working with the client, we don't know how quickly they're going to be to letting things go, to rearranging things, to changing out curtains. All of those questions kind of come when you're in the thick of things. But usually in this particular package, it's going to be several days of organizing, followed by at least one day of redesigning, possibly two. And then, I don't know if they're going to want Bernadette to order things in advance, if we're going to be buying new things, if there's going to be internet researches that need to be done, if we're going to need to take the clients to a store. But working together is extremely helpful because I can be Bernadette when she needs an extra stager, and Bernadette can be an organizer when we're, in the beginning of the process. So it's not that I come in and do the organizing and call in Bernadette on the second half of the package. We do the whole package together. And since we kind of sort of know about each other's genres, it makes it fun and easier. And even though she wouldn't want to organize full time and I wouldn't want to, redesign full time, we can thoroughly appreciate doing it as a team, and it goes smoother and quicker when we do this. And it gives an affordability to our clients who want to dwell, because really we've saved them from moving, we've saved them from selling the house, and the bottom line is they now live in a home that they know where everything is, they know how to find it, they know how to use it, they know how to put it back, and they love their space.